So here's number 17. Number 17, the question is, it says complete the identity, which I know you love these. Complete the identity. And they give you, in this case, tan theta over 2 and plus cotan theta over 2. Okay, so for this one, you need to remember a couple of identities. First identity I want you to always have in your bag of tricks is sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1. This will come in very handy. Second one will be, well, actually you're going to use the half angles for this as well. Alright, so let's begin. Okay, so if I have sine x over 2 plus cosine x over 2 over cosine x over 2 times sine x over 2. So if you recall, what I'm doing is, in this case, is I'm basically taking tan theta, which in actuality we know is sine over cosine, and cotan theta, which we know is cosine over sine. And since I'm adding them, technically I'm adding two fractions, so let me actually back up because I think I wrote too quick. Went too quick in the forward direction. I'll back this up for a sec. So what ends up happening is, and let's go ahead and also replace theta as theta over 2 as x, just to keep it simple. So this becomes sine x over cosine x plus cosine x over sine x. Okay, now keep in mind we've replaced or substituted in x for theta over 2. If I obtain a common denominator, remember that I'm basically multiplying top and bottom on this side by sine x. On this side, I'm multiplying by cosine x, top and bottom. Okay? So what I end up with, technically on this side, is sine squared x plus cosine squared x. Alright, and then over the fraction sine x cosine x. Again, I refer you back to the identity where we know that sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta is 1. So our numerator technically is 1 over, at this moment, sine x cosine x. Okay, now we reintroduce our substitution. So instead of calling it x, I'm going to actually recognize that it's a half angle formula. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to include theta over 2, theta over 2. So we use the half angle formulas to obtain the following. We have 1 over the formula for sine theta over 2 and cosine theta over 2. So we'll go with, since I have sine first, I'm going to put in 1 minus cosine theta first over 2, just to match. And we have that times the square root of 1 plus cosine theta over 2. Okay, so I'm going from here, 1 over this, which is this formula here. My green is the green, a nice green, that's my cosine right here, okay? And it's still 1 over. Alright, if I multiply this out at this point, I'm going to obtain the following. I'm going to have 1 over the square root of 1 minus cosine squared x, or theta, over 4. And this becomes, now remember, at this point, square root of 4 becomes 2. So I simplify this to 1 over the square root of 1 minus cosine squared x over 2. So if I keep change flipped, I end up with 2 over what is the equivalent of the square root of sine squared x. Again, go back to the identity. Kind of disregard the square root sign for a moment. And so remember that 1 minus cosine squared x is equivalent to sine squared x. Alright, just take that in for a sec. And then this ends up being 2 over sine x, which by default gives us our final answer of 2 cosecant x. Okay? Alright, take that in. Hopefully it helps.